Friday we started our new chapter where I introduced to you to the comparison and contrast essays that we're going to be writing over the course of the next 2 weeks. Next Friday you'll be testing on that, so by next Friday you will have written your comparison and contrast essay and turned it into me. But in the meantime, we have to learn how to write it, right?
Yep.
So that's what we're going to do today. And to start that, we're going to do a little reviewing of comparing and contrasting. Come on, Tay. Will you come up here and stand and hold these? Yes, ma'am.
I wish we had a soccer ball.
You may have one, but that's not what I'm using today. So if you'll just hold one in, kind of like I was doing like that. All right. There's my marker. All right. So we're going to do a little activity on comparing and contrasting these two balls that Amante is holding for us. The first thing that I want you to do is to tell me some similarities between the two balls. Isabel?
They're both round.
They're both round. Okay. Any other similarities to them?
They're both balls.
Well, we know that. We're just trying to decide the similarities between the two of them. Alex? You can play with them. Okay. So they're round. You can play with them. Izzy?
You can make shots in the hoop with them.
So you can throw them. You can throw both of them. All right.
I got one.
And what?
They both bounce.
They both bounce. That's true. Okay. You think anything else is alike about them?
They're both light.
Light?
No, that's close.
Yeah. That one over there is probably quite a bit heavier than this one is. The one in his left hand is probably quite a bit heavier than the other one. Basketballs are not real light. I'm not sure that there's anything else alike about these two balls. Okay, before we do that, no, we're heading to it. Can anyone tell me some differences in the two balls? And you're gonna have to slide down a little so I can write on some more of the board. Okay, Gabe.
One has spikes and the other doesn't.
Okay. One has spikes. Rachel.
One is smaller than the other.
Okay, one is smaller. RJ.
One's heavy, one's light.
One is heavy. One is light. Izzy.
One of them you have to blow them up, but the other one you don't. You gotta go both ways. No, but that doesn't have the thing. But you blow up.
Yeah, that's more of the same, I think. Alex.
One hurts, one doesn't.
One hurts and one
I'm pretty sure they
doesn't?
both.
Yeah.
Which one hurts?
The basketball.
Hurts, you mean like if it hits you?
Yeah. That one hurts.
I think we'll include the fact that it does that because it's heavy, okay? And this one's not. So we won't say that because that is why it does it.
One is blue and one is brown.
One is blue. One is light brown.
Yeah, like
Dirty brown.
very black.
Yes.
One has lines.
Yes, one has lines on it. The other one does not. All right, very good, very good. Would you put those back in the bag over there? Where you have a seat? Thank you. All right, so something as simple as a ball that you play with at recess can have similarities.
Yes, ma'am.
And it can have differences.
I'm on.
What do we call this column where we showed how they were similar? as far as the essay that we're gonna be writing?
Compare.
It's comparing. Here we compared. We showed how they are alike, okay? That's what compare means, to show how two things are alike. And what do we call this over here, Alex, where we showed how they are different? Contrast. We showed all the ways that the two balls were different from each other. All right. Let me see. All right, look at page 25 in your book. Everybody there? Page 25. All right. At the top of the page, we have an introductory paragraph. It says, Antonio wrote this essay to compare and contrast two places, the state where he lived before and the state where he lives now. Notice the parts of his essay. We see an introduction, a comparison, a contrast, and a conclusion. How many paragraphs does he use? Is he 4? 4 paragraphs. Each one of those parts is put into a paragraph. You can tell that it's its own paragraph because the paragraph is indented. That means it doesn't start at the edge of the paper. It starts a little bit in from the edge of the paper and then goes back to the margin to finish the paragraph. And then you start the new paragraph the same way, and the third one and the fourth one. Can everybody see that on your paper? Can you see where the paragraphs begin? See how that's indented, indented, indented? See, indented? That's, we can easily look at our paper and see the 4 paragraphs. Can everyone see the 4 paragraphs?
Yes.
All right, very good. All right. There are 4 paragraphs, and each paragraph is labeled, and we are going to read this paragraph out loud, so y'all follow along as I read it out loud to you. All right. Southerners go north. My family moved from South Carolina to Nebraska last year. Most people have many adjustments to make when they move to a new place. We enjoyed living in South Carolina, but we like Nebraska too. We have noticed many similarities and also a few differences between the 2 states. What sentence is the topic sentence in that paragraph? Gracie?
My family moved from South Carolina to Nebraska last year.
Yes, that is the topic sentence. The first sentence in the paragraph is usually the topic sentence. You start out telling me what you're going to talk about in your paragraph by giving a brief overview. We get more details later, don't we? But we know that this story is going to be about his family moving from South Carolina to Nebraska. He starts out saying that.
Last year you told us something about the first sentence you added to it.
Topic sentence. Yep, the topic sentence. That's what it's called. It's the topic sentence. It's the topic of the paragraph. Okay? All right. Let me see. Which sentence in that paragraph leads into the main part of the essay and tells what the essay is about? Which sentence in that paragraph? So we only read the first paragraph. And we know that the topic sentence is the first one. Alex, what do you think? I can't hear you.
What was the question?
The question was, which sentence in that paragraph that I just read to you leads into the main part of the essay and tells exactly what the essay is about? Which sentence? Can you pull that down so I can hear you just a little bit while you're reading?
My family moved from
the sentences leads into the body of the essay by telling us what basically this is about. Izzy?
Most people have many apartments.
No, and that says adjustments, but that's not it. Amante? No, that's the topic sentence. No. There's only one more sentence. Y'all have read 3 of the 4. So which one is it that you haven't read? RJ? Not the conclusion. We're in the first paragraph right now. We're talking about paragraph 1. There's 4 sentences in that paragraph. One of them leads into the rest of the essay. Is it?
We enjoy living in South Carolina.
No. Gracie? Remember, this is a compare and contrast essay. Caleb? That's it. You knew it too. Good. It tells the last sentence in that paragraph leads into the rest of the essay. It says, we have noticed many similarities, the compare part of an essay, and also a few differences, the contrast part of the essay, between the 2 states. That's what this is going to be about, okay? It tells you, my family moved from South Carolina to Nebraska last year. That's the topic. South Carolina and Nebraska. The part that leads into it, that shows you what they're going to be telling you, is similarities and differences in the 2 states. So that very last sentence that you write in your first paragraph should lead right into, you should say something, when you're doing yours later in the week, when we get started, and you're comparing 2 things, it should say something like, apples and bananas are both fruits and taste good. There are similarities and differences in them. Yeah? Right? Okay. Well, that was like pulling teeth. Okay. All right, let's read some more. Follow along with me as I finish reading the essay. Many things about Nebraska and South Carolina are similar. My school in Nebraska is a lot like my old school in South Carolina. We study all the same subjects and we even use the same kind of textbooks. Similarly, our neighborhood here in Nebraska reminds me of our neighborhood in South Carolina. Our house there was on a cul-de-sac, and our house here is too. Like the neighbors in South Carolina, the neighbors here in Nebraska are friendly, and there are some kids my own age. South Carolina had a good church for us to attend, and Nebraska does also. On the other hand, 3rd paragraph, some things about Nebraska are different from South Carolina. For example, the winter weather is much different here in Nebraska. In South Carolina, we got a large amount of rain in the winter, but we hardly ever got snow. In contrast, Nebraska winters are frigid, and we get a lot of snow. Another difference is that we do not have the same kind of soil here. The South Carolina soil has a red color to it, but the Nebraska soil is dark brown. Nebraska has more farms than South Carolina did. We also see many more cows here than we did in South Carolina. Conclusion paragraph. We like our new home in Nebraska. Although people here tease us about being Southerners, we enjoy seeing more snow and more farmland. We sometimes miss South Carolina, but we are glad God brought our family here. All right. What are some similarities that were mentioned in the comparison paragraph, Alex? The neighborhood was the same? You said that? Okay. Gracie?
Their neighbors were friendly in both places.
Yes, they were. Kaylin?
Schools had the same textbooks.
Schools had the same textbooks. Izzy?
Those kids
There were kids in the neighborhood his age, yes.
There were churches.
There were churches, good churches in both, yes.
I thought they said when it was something that was familiar into both of their houses that they had in Nebraska.
What'd you say that one more time?
That they said when it was similar to the house in California, they had the
Yes.
same thing.
Right, we're living on the cul-de-sac. Does everybody know what a cul-de-sac is?
Yes,
You
I
know?
have one.
A cul-de-sac, I live on a cul-de-sac. A cul-de-sac is you go down this street here or whatever, and then you turn on your street and it looks like this. Okay, it's like one of those little circle things at the end. It doesn't go out.
Oh,
So like in my cul-de-sac, my house is right there.
so
There's
more.
another house right there, and there's another house right there, and there's another house right
So
there.
it's more
Yeah.
like a dead end type of.
It's like a dead end, but it's done into a circle
Oh.
so that there's room to like turn around.
Like you can drive.
I ride my bikes down there, but I don't live on the cul-de-sac. I live like 2 minutes away from
Right. That's a cul-de-sac. So that's what, he lives on a cul-de-sac in both places. So that was another similarity. Now, what are some of the differences that were mentioned in the contrasting paragraph? Isabel,
They have different soils.
the soil is different. Amante? Izzy?
I guess they tease them.
That's not different, no. Gracie?
They have more farms.
More farms,
Yeah, it's
different kind of weather, yes, the weather, especially in the winter, yes. Alex?
It's hotter out here.
Right, that's to do with the weather, but yes. All right, those were some of the differences that they used. All right, look at page 26 in your book, go ahead and flip over. We are going to talk about some comparing and contrasting words that were used in this paragraph, or in this paper essay, and ones that you will need to use in your own compare and contrast essay. In the yellow box up at the top, it says, each paragraph in the essay has a special purpose. If you flip back and forth, they labeled the introduction. The first paragraph is the introduction. This is important to know. So you need to know all of this. You need to make sure that you keep this page in your book so that you can refer back to it. The introduction opens the essay. It tells what the essay is going to be about, and it leads into the main part of the essay. The first sentence is your topic sentence, what the whole thing is going to be about. The last sentence in that first paragraph leads into the rest of it. It says something like, although there are similarities in Nebraska and South Carolina, there are differences too. I mean, just a real basic sentence like that that just tells that you are actually comparing and contrasting two things. The second paragraph that we just looked at and just read begins the main part of the essay, or the body of the essay. It is a comparison of the two states, South Carolina and Nebraska, telling how they are alike. Just like we did a comparison of the two balls for recess, how they are alike. The third paragraph is the contrasting paragraph. It tells how the two states are different. And the fourth paragraph is the conclusion. It closes the essay. It sums up how the author, and that will be you will be the author of your essay, feels about both states. He says, we like our new home in Nebraska. Although people here tease us about being Southerners, probably because of their accents. Because people in the South talk different than people up north.
You want them Southerners over there?
And Southerners, we talk different than those Yankees do up north. Sorry. Anyway, we enjoy seeing more snow and more farmland. We sometimes miss South Carolina, but we are glad God brought our family here. So the author tells how he feels about both things, okay? This essay, it really talks about his emotion and how he feels about something. some of the, when we did a compare and contrast essay when you guys were in fourth grade, and we did do one, we compared things like a cat and a dog, or an apple and a banana. And you know, you might not have a lot of emotion about an apple or a banana, but you would still need to have a conclusion, like, although apples and bananas have some similarities, they are different, and I like both of them, or something like that. You would still want to have that kind of a conclusion in your essay, even if it's not a serious emotion that you're feeling. Notice that Antonio used certain words and phrases to connect ideas in his essay, such as although and for example. He also used comparing and contrasting words. He used like, also, and similarly throughout that essay. Comparing and contrasting words help make the details in each paragraph clearer and more connected. Which of these special words did Antonio use? I just told you that. I didn't know I was going to ask that. So anyway, really? Somebody back there teaching something? Then please turn around and put your feet under the desk and pay attention to what we're doing. All right. Shia, read me the list of comparing words in the purple box. I need you to do that, and I need you to stop drawing on your paper and pay attention to what we're doing in class. And I need you to take the purse off your desk. It doesn't go in the desk. Thank you. I need you to. All right, so that means you're not participating in class. Rachel, will you read those for me?
Also, both, like, similarly, in the same.
Thank you. Also, both, like, similarly, and in the same way. Those are words you would use in the second paragraph, right? The one that we tell how things are alike. Isabel, would you read me the contrasting words?
But, however, in contrast, even though on the other hand.
So in the third paragraph on how we tell how things are different, you wouldn't say also because things are different. So you would say but. There's that joining word again. However, in contrast. They just come right out and say in contrast. Even though and on the other hand. Those are words you would use when you're showing how things are different than the other things. All right, so what we're going to do at the bottom of the page is you're going to read that paragraph, and then without comparing or contrasting words, it seems disconnected, okay? It's just a bunch of words. I want you to read it, and then I want you to use proofreading marks. So we know the proofreading marks. If you want to add a word in, you do that little arrow point thing and then write the word above it. Or if you want me to make a word lowercase, or a letter lowercase, you know, if I capitalize something and I want it to be a lowercase letter, I can cross through it like that. You can see that proofreading marks box on your page there. Go through and use proofreading marks and add comparing and contrasting words to make the paragraph clearer. So go ahead right now and do that on your own, and then we'll talk about it. And there's like, I don't know, about 3 places I see where you could add one of those, you know, from those, you know, those words in the box. And I think all of these are contrasting. This is the contrasting paragraph. So you're going to use words from the green box. All right, who knows where we would put in one of the contrasting words? Gracie.
So where you can put but where winters in the north are quiet and winters in the south, but northern winters are very cold.
But winters, okay, let's see. Winters in the north are quite different from winters in the south. Northern winters are very cold. Where I would put the but would be after cold. I would put but in the south, the temperatures do not drop, because that's where you're comparing. The first sentence is like the introductory to the topic sentence. It's what you're going to be talking about is that winters in north are different from winters in south. And the first thing you're going to tell me is that northern winters are very cold. And then use a contrasting word. But in the south, the temperatures do not drop as low. Okay, that's one of those words. It clarifies that you're talking about how they're different. Okay, so I would add in front of the word in, I would add the word but, and then you would make the I and in a lowercase I, because it's not the beginning of the sentence anymore, right? If you put but there. Where else would you put some words from the contrasting words list? Somebody else. So y'all haven't written anything on your papers? Has anybody written anything on your papers?
Yes, ma'am.
What have you written on your paper, Izzy?
The lowercase on south, on the south that said from winters in the south.
No, south is supposed to be capitalized. It's a region. I'm talking about where you would use some contrasting words. RJ.
However, many northern states lie under heavy snow for weeks or months at a time.
Okay, you could do that. You could say however, or you could say in contrast, or one of those, but that would work, yes. In contrast, however, the southern states, I would put it, but after that sentence, and put it before the next one, because it's comparing those two things. It says, many northern states lie under heavy layers of snow for weeks or months at a time. In contrast, or however, snow in the southern states usually melts quickly. You're comparing those two things. So you're gonna put the contrast word between the comparison of the two things. One sentence talks about the north, and then the next sentence talks about the south. You're gonna use a contrast word in between those two sentences, starting the second sentence, because you're telling how they're different. Does that make sense? Or just giving me the dead stare? Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe, a little bit, possibly. Yay? Does it make sense? What is that? What does that mean? Alex? All right, where else would you put a contrast word?
A snowfall in the north. After a snowfall in the north.
Okay, what would you put?
On the other hand, southern roads with snow.
Very good. That's exactly where that should go. And on the other hand is good. However, in contrast, either of those, of any of those three would work there, because it's contrasting the roads and the snowfall in the north and the roads and the snowfall in the south. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, Gracie, I
Um,
don't need to know about your eraser. I need you to pay attention to what we're doing.
alright. So where it says many northern states lie under heavy layers of snow weeks or months at a time, I put even though snow in the southern states usually
No, it's quicker. That would be where you would use one. And you could say even though, that would work. Even though, in contrast, on the other hand, those all mean the same thing. You're all saying, this is this, but this is this. Okay? Yes?
Here's another one. So I put on the other hand where it says in the south the temperatures do not drop as low as snow. On the other hand, many northern states lie under heavy layers of snow for weeks or months.
Well, the difference why I would not put one there is because the sentence before is talking about temperatures, and the second sentence is talking about snow. It's not really compared, see, like the first two are talking about temperatures, and then those next ones are talking about snow, and then the next ones are talking about the roads getting clear. So basically you want to contrast how the snow, well, there's a lot of snow up north, however, there's not a lot of snow in the south. On the other hand, there's not a lot of snow in the south. You want to make sure it's comparing the sentences that are talking about the same thing, okay? Snow on the ground, or the roads getting clear, or what the temperatures are like. You want to compare the same things, okay? Or contrast the same things. All right, what we're going to do right now is work on a little mini essay together, okay? And we are going to compare cats and dogs. All right?
Yay.
Apples and bananas.
This is called a T-chart, because it kind of looks like a T, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be using a T-chart to plan your essay. And we're going to use one today to plan this little mini essay that we're going to write together in class. And the first thing that we need to do in the writing process is plan, okay? When you look at the writing process poster, if you guys were in my room last year, it was up on the wall. It was that big yellow poster on the back of the wall. And I still have it. I just used it in third grade. I didn't bring it over here today. But the first thing you do in any kind of a writing assignment is to plan your assignment. You don't just sit down and start writing. If you do that, you've got a mess. You just got a page full of a bunch of words that are in no kind of order whatsoever and maybe have no connection with each other. But if we plan, then we can set it up correctly when we first start. So in planning this essay, where we're going to compare and contrast a cat and a dog, we need a T-chart. And what we're going to do is we are going to list things about cats and things about dogs. And then we'll do the next thing on that. So tell me some things about cats. Gracie,
They are smaller than dogs sometimes.
don't tell me how they're different than dogs. Tell me about cats.
They're furry.
Furry. Tia,
They have a thin tail.
have a tail. Kaylin, they don't like to be in water. Yeah, no, they don't. Gabe,
They are small and evil.
small and evil. I'll just put small because, you know, some people don't think they're evil. Layla, they're what? They're scared of cucumbers?
I've never seen Taco Bell.
Never heard of that.
Shoot, I used to eat in front of
I didn't think about what cats look like, okay? Alex, they're what? They're mean. They're not all mean. Tell me what they look like.
You have a small head.
I need something different.
They scratch.
They scratch, okay.
Dogs do that too.
No, they're lazy.
Lazy. Gracie.
What was was I gonna say?
I don't know. Tia?
They have small pink nose. Not all the time.
No.
And that's true. They don't all have it. They don't have a small nose. Alex?
They have claws.
Claws? Do they have 4 legs?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, they haven't also.
Yes. Pointed ears. Whiskers.
Dogs have. I see a pointed or
Big head?
No, they're small head.
I don't know.
How about they meow?
Yes.
They purr. They growl like
They
dogs.
meow or purr. Okay. That's things we know about cats. This is how you do this. Now, we're not comparing right now. We are making a list of each thing. Tell me about cats, now tell me about dogs. Alex,
They're playful.
playful. Gracie,
They're sweet.
sometimes. Tia,
They love balls.
sometimes.
No, not sometimes, look.
RJ,
To attack.
what?
Attack.
They attack?
What about you say bite?
Those playful sweet dogs attack?
My dog
That's
ain't
so
sweet.
right.
My dog playful, but ain't sweet.
Amante,
They bite it.
they might.
That's a cat.
Gabe,
They are big and not evil.
some aren't big. What about a chihuahua?
They're small.
They're not
tiny
evil.
dogs.
Chihuahuas are not evil.
You've seen hot dogs.
They're mini sizes, though. You can't just say they're big.
I got
They're
checked by
midgets.
I got checked
I
by a
mean-
hot dog and another dog.
I mean, if you have a chihuahua, it weighs probably about 5 pounds.
Mine's fat.
If you have a lab, it probably weighs about 80 pounds.
They growl.
Growl,
I got one.
bark. They have 4 legs.
Can I sell?
They have a tail.
Wait, they howl?
Kaylin,
They have whiskers. They do have whiskers.
not the same kind of whiskers.
They do. They have a mustache. I want. They howl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owl, some of them do. Yes.
Jump and stuff.
Okay, Tanisha, soft, like their fur is soft.
They'll chew you up and eat all your stuff.
That's a
They
girl.
chew. Layla? What? They like water.
They'll let you fight and hate.
All right, that's enough. We're out of room. Okay. All right. So we have a list of things about cats. Sounds they make, what they look like, what they don't like, and we have the same thing for dogs. So you're gonna end up making a T-chart when you start planning yours. All right. Once you make the T-chart, you need to go through the T-chart and circle things that are the same. So what do we see on the cat side that we also see on the dog side, RJ?
4 legs.
4 legs. 4 legs. Yes. They both have a tail. Gracie,
Can find it. Whiskers.
they both have whiskers.
They jump.
We don't have jump on this list. They might, but we didn't have it over there, so we can't put that on there.
They like water?
No, because these don't like water. Don't like to be in water. They like to be in water. They're not, that's not the same. That's different.
They both make sounds. They don't make
But-
the same ones.
But you don't see that written on the board. I'm talking about what's on the board. We're circling the things on the board that are the same. Do we see anything else on there that are the same? What?
I a dog is soft and a cat is furry. That's kind of the
And
same.
that's very similar, yes. So soft and furry would kind of be the same. Do we see anything else that's the same?
I actually like to point out another feature that cats have.
Well, we're not gonna do that right now. Okay? I mean, I appreciate it, but we're done with this. So we're only using what we have up here right now, okay? There might be more things,
They can both bite and scratch.
but do we have that over here?
Nope.
No, we don't. Well, we have scratch, and then over here we have bite. So we can circle that because it's both kind of like, you know, doing something to somebody. All right, I don't see anything else that's alike. Do you?
Claws and they attack, or like scratch and they attack.
No. Claws are like a part of their body.
Monkeys.
Like they have claws over here, it would be like if we put they had paws.
Wait,
But that's different. It's
don't
not the
dogs
same.
have small noses?
I don't know, but we didn't write that. No, it's different. Cats meow, dogs growl. That's how they're different. Right now, we're circling how they are alike, okay? We've circled all the ways that they are alike. All right, so once you do this, when you start planning your essay, once you have your two lists and you circle all the things that are alike, you're going to make something called a Venn diagram. Have you ever heard of a Venn diagram?
Yes.
If you were in my class last year, don't say no because you'll be lying. You may not remember it, but you've heard of one because you did one. It looked like this.
Oh,
Okay? That's a really tiny little Venn diagram, okay?
There was in the middle, everything is like in the
So if we were filling out this Venn diagram, and I don't have room on the board because y'all don't have a very big board. Can you please stop doing that? Thank you. If we were filling this out, this would be much bigger. I would have the circles big enough to write things in. This side we would call cats, and this side we would call dogs. And in the middle, where they overlap each other, is where you would put all the things that we circled, because that's how they are alike. All the things that are alike about them: tails, 4 legs, whiskers, furry, soft, scratch, bite. Okay? We would put in that overlapping circle, those are things that both cats and dogs have. That circle, that little area in the circle is are the things that are the same about them. That covers what's in that's about dogs and it's about cats. And then out here we would put the other. Meow, bark, hates water, likes water, small, bigger, even though they can be small as cats sometimes, lazy, they have claws, they have paws, they attack, pointed ears, all the things about them that is different. This would be only the dog stuff, only the cat stuff, and then in the center where it overlaps, and you're going to do one of these for yours, you would fill in all the things that you circled on your T-chart. Here's what they look like. And this is the one that you'll get when you're getting ready to do your essay. You'll have one of these to work with, and you'll see that there's room to write actual words, the things that are alike, or the things that are alike, just the cat, just the dog. All right? That's all part of the planning process. In the writing process, that's all part of planning. Deciding, first of all, the two things you're going to compare, making the T-chart, listing everything you can think of about the first one and everything you can think of about the second one, and then going through and circling the things that are alike in them. Once you've done that, you make the Venn diagram. You take everything that's circled and put it in the center section of the Venn diagram, and then on the outside sections, you put the specifics. Only cats, only dogs, both cats and dogs. Okay? Like I said, last year we did it with like apples and bananas, and that was real easy because, you know, apples are round, bananas are oblong, apples are red, bananas are yellow, apples are crunchy, bananas are soft. You know, we would list all the things, but apple's a fruit, a banana's a fruit. Apples taste good, bananas taste good. Apples have a peel, bananas have a peel. So, you know, you can peel your apple, the skin off of it. You have to peel the banana to eat it, because you can't eat it. And then you would put that into a Venn diagram. You would put round, oblong, you know, crunchy, soft, those would all go on the outside edges. And in the middle, a fruit, tastes good, has a peel, all the things that are the same. Is this beginning to make any sense to you?
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
we're gonna talk about, how we divide it up. Once you have this, and then you have